Deep inside the Chernobyl Exclusion Zone, one of the most contaminated landscapes on Earth, roughly 130 people still call this place home. They are not scientists or soldiers. They are elderly women, most between 85 and 95 years old, who defied a government order and walked back into the radioactive zone they were evacuated from decades ago. And against all logic, some of them may have outlived the very neighbors who left. Maria wakes early, just as the mist lifts from the fields that once belonged to her parents. She is 89 now, her hands shaped by decades of planting and harvest. Each morning she walks the short path from her kitchen to the garden, a patch of earth she tends with quiet pride. Potatoes, carrots and cabbage grow in neat rows, watered from the same well her father dug before the war. The house creaks with age, but the stove still works, and Maria keeps a kettle ready for visitors. She remembers the day in 1986 when the soldiers came, telling everyone to leave. Maria left, but the emptiness of a stranger's apartment in Kyiv pressed on her until she found her way back, slipping past checkpoints under cover of darkness. She says, simply, "My home is here. I will not leave again." Her neighbor, Hannah, is 92 and lives alone at the edge of the next village. Her window faces the overgrown orchard where she once played as a child. Hannah keeps a few chickens and a goat, trading eggs for bread when supply trucks come through. She draws water from a hand pump, careful to let it run clear before filling her bucket. Hannah's days are measured by chores, feeding animals, sweeping the path, gathering mushrooms in the woods. She laughs when asked about radiation. She says, "I survived famine, war and Stalin. Why should I fear what I cannot see?" For both women, the rhythm of the seasons matters more than the warnings of officials or scientists. The land holds their memories, their losses, and their stubborn hope. Their reasons for staying are simple: family roots, familiar soil, and the dignity of choosing how and where to live out the rest of their days. Maria keeps her mother's embroidered tablecloth folded in a drawer, smoothing it with her palms when the house grows quiet. Hannah's shelf holds a faded photograph of her wedding day, the faces of parents and siblings now long gone. These objects are more than keepsakes. They are anchors to a life shaped by the land outside their doors. For both women, every corner of their home, every tree in the orchard, holds a memory that no city apartment could replace. The choice to stay is not simply about stubbornness or nostalgia. It is a matter of agency, of deciding how to spend the years that remain. After the evacuation in 1986, when officials promised a quick return that never came, Maria accepted a government pension and tried to adapt to city life. The money helped pay for groceries, but it could not buy the feeling of belonging. Hannah tells of the moment she made up her mind. "They said it was for my own good, but I know what is good for me." Here, each day brings small decisions that matter, whether to plant beans or potatoes, when to gather herbs in the forest, how to repair a leaky roof before the first frost. These choices, mundane as they may seem, restore a sense of dignity that was lost during the chaos of relocation. For the samosely, the right to tend their own gardens, draw water from the old well, and keep a few chickens is not just survival. It is the foundation of a meaningful life. The world outside may see only risk and hardship, but inside these homes, the true danger is the loss of self-determination. In this place, they remain the authors of their own story. On April the 27th, 1986, the first buses rolled through the villages surrounding Chernobyl, carrying away families who had lived on that land for generations. Soviet authorities ordered the evacuation of 115,000 people from 81 villages within a matter of days. Some left with little more than a suitcase, believing they would return in a week. The soldiers told them it was temporary, that the danger would soon pass. For many, it was the last time they would see their homes intact.
The weeks that followed brought silence to the fields and empty streets, but the absence did not last. Within a month, as the official checkpoints settled into routine, small groups began to slip back through the woods and across the rivers. By summer's end, nearly 1,200 former residents had returned, ignoring the ban and the warnings. Most were older women, determined to reclaim their gardens and their memories. One phrase, passed from neighbor to neighbor, captured their resolve: "Shoot me rather than make me leave." Whether spoken or simply felt, the words carried the weight of a lifetime rooted in a single place. The authorities responded with patrols and threats, but the samosely, self-settlers, found ways to endure. Some hid in abandoned houses by day and tended their fields at dawn. Others bribed guards or walked for miles under cover of darkness. Official orders could not erase the pull of home. Over the years, the number of returnees slowly dwindled, worn down by age and the hardship of life in a forbidden zone. Still, a core group remained, quietly defying both the law and the logic of survival. Their presence created a legal grey area. They were neither fully recognized nor completely invisible, living lives shaped by both risk and resilience. Maria and Hannah, like so many others, became part of this unrecorded history, a testament to the enduring power of belonging. In the heart of the exclusion zone, daily life unfolds with a quiet logic built on habit, resourcefulness, and the patterns of the land itself. The samosely, now numbering around 130 and clustered in 11 small villages and the town of Chernobyl, rely on a patchwork of old and new ways to meet their needs. Vegetable gardens are central. Potatoes, carrots, and cabbage grow in small plots, often no larger than a quarter acre. Each spring, seeds are sown by hand, and by late summer, the harvest is gathered and stored for the long winter. Soil here varies in contamination, but most gardens produce enough to keep a household fed. Wells dug decades ago remain the main source of water. Residents draw buckets from the same depths their parents and grandparents once relied on. Occasional testing shows that most wells meet safety guidelines, though some residents supplement with rainwater during the dry months. Foraging is a seasonal ritual. In the forests, women gather wild mushrooms and berries, including boletus and russula, and they pick blueberries and cranberries. They are careful to avoid patches known for higher contamination. These foods, rich in flavor and tradition, add variety to their diets and are often shared or traded among neighbors. A few keep chickens or a goat, providing eggs and milk. Livestock numbers are modest because veterinary care is rare, and the risks of raising animals in this environment are well understood. The state pension, about $85 a month, arrives through the post office in Chernobyl. It is a small sum, but it covers basics like salt, sugar, and medicine. Once a month, aid trucks from Kiev or the Red Cross deliver flour, canned goods, and medical supplies, especially before winter sets in. Barter is common. Potatoes are exchanged for eggs, firewood for bread, and these small exchanges help knit the scattered community together. Life here is shaped by necessity, but also by the deep bonds of trust and mutual help that have grown over decades. The routines, tending a garden, drawing water, preparing food, are not just about survival. They are acts of continuity, affirming a connection to land and to each other, even as the world outside moves on. For the samosely, these daily practices are a way of reclaiming dignity and choice, despite the invisible risks that linger in the soil and air. A scientific study published in 2015 revealed that samosely who returned to the exclusion zone lived, on average, 4.3 years longer than evacuees matched for age, gender, and background. Researchers used personal dosimeters to track radiation exposure and compared health records between both groups. Some experts, like Dr. Olena Kovalenko, point to the importance of daily routines, community ties, and a sense of purpose as possible reasons for this unexpected result. Others caution that survivor bias may play a role. Those who returned were already more robust than their peers. The findings challenge simple assumptions about risk and resilience in the zone. The samosely community is dwindling year by year. Official records counted 314 residents in 2007, but by 2017 only 135 remained. Today, about 130 people still call the exclusion zone home. Nearly 4 out of 5 are women, most between 85 and 95 years old. Each passing season, the group grows smaller. Losses come quietly through age and the slow march of time. Maria and Hannah are part of what may be the last generation to remember life here before the disaster. Their stories and those of their neighbors are becoming rare. When the last of them is gone, so too will vanish a living memory of the world that once was. Today, just 130 remain, mostly women in their 90s, tending gardens where 115,000 once lived. Their quiet defiance reminds us that home is not just a place, but a choice. In a world of displacement, their story asks what we risk and what we defend when belonging is on the line.